What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogreboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1983 movie Twilight Zone the movie. This movie is based on the classic 1960s series of the same name, and has 4 segments each based on episodes from the TV show. And at the beginning of the movie there's a little prologue where 2 people are in a car going down a winding road and stuff in the middle of the night. One's played by Albert Brooks and the other one's played by Dan Aykroyd, and they're talking about different stuff, and at first they're listening to music and then they start just talking and everything because the cassette player doesn't work and the radio's not working, and they talk about different TV shows, and like they do a humming game where they try to guess which TV theme the other's humming, and it's a pretty fun scene and everything. And then it gets a little meta where they talk about the Twilight Zone and everything, and that leads into the title of the movie and everything, and then the segments start. Now, the first segment is directed by John Landis, and in this movie Vic Morrow plays Bill Connor, a racist man who is at a bar and stuff with his friends, and he's being really racist, saying all kinds of different messed up stuff, and he ends up, when he leaves the bar, he leaves the bar and he shows up in like World War II era, and there's Nazis chasing him thinking that he's a Jew, and then a few minutes later into the episode he ends up in the American South, and the KKK is after him, thinking he's a black man, and ready to hang him, and he gets away and jumps into a lake, and when he comes out of the lake he's in Vietnam during the war and everything. It's really crazy segment, and then he ends up, after he gets away from the Vietnam War, he ends up back with the Nazis and stuff, and they capture him and stuff, and he sees the bar and stuff and sees that his friends are still in it and everything, but he can't get away from them, and that's how it ends. It's a really weird segment, and it's one of, because while filming this movie, Vic Morrow and 2 kids were killed in a stunt that went wrong, and a helicopter had decapitated Vic Morrow and one of the kids, and it crushed the other kid and everything. And it was supposed to be a scene where he was trying to save the kids and everything, but it was a really sad story and everything, and they almost cut this segment completely out of the story, but John Landis decided to keep it in there in respect for Vic Morrow and everything, and there's been debates about whether they should have kept it in here or not. Personally, to be honest, it's my least favorite segment of the story, and it don't really have anything to do with the behind the scenes thing. I just didn't find it as interesting and everything, so it really doesn't bother me too bad that it wouldn't bother me too bad if they left it out, but at the same time I think it's okay they kept it into it, because I mean it is alright story and everything, but it's my least favorite out of all these segments. But I will say that Vic Morrow was pretty good in here. And then the second segment is Kick the Can, which is directed by Steven Spielberg, and the main reason I'm doing this review because I'm trying to review all of his movies. And in this one, it follows a man named Mr. Bloom, played by Catman Scruthers, who moves into a retirement home, and he's listening to the residents reminisce about their childhood, and he talks to them about their favorite games and stuff, and he gets them to agree to play a game of Kick the Can later on that night, and they end up playing the game, and all of the old people, except for Mr. Bloom, become kids again and everything, because he has, I guess, the can that he uses or whatever has magic powers or something, or he has magic powers to turn them back into kids. And he tells them that they could stay kids and relive their life all over again, and they all decide they want to go back to being adults except for one of the kids. And there's one old man that didn't go out and play the game with them that night, that stayed an old man, and he sees what happens, and he's wanting to figure out how to become a kid again. But of course he starts playing kick the can and stuff over and over again, trying to become a kid, but since he didn't play with them that time, he didn't become one. And at the end of it, it shows Mr. Bloom going into another nursing home, where I'm guessing he's gonna start all over again and turn some more people into kids and let them decide what they want to do. It's a pretty interesting short. I know a lot of people say it's one of the worst ones in the movie, and it's definitely not the best, but I still liked it more than segment 1. I don't know for sure how high I would rank it as far as those shorts go. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video on how I'd probably rank these shorts, but I do think this one was pretty good. And then segment 3 is called It's a Good Life, directed by Joe Dante, and it's based on one of the most popular episodes. And I've actually seen this episode, but I don't remember it very well. It's been a really long time. I've seen this one and the episode based on the next short, which is probably the most famous episode from the show that any of these shorts are based on. In this one, a woman named Helen Foley, played by Kathleen Quinn, meets a boy named Anthony, played by Jeremy Licht. And first she sees him inside this store, and he's playing an arcade game, and he gets kicked out of the store, and right as he's trying to leave on his bike, she backs up into him with her car by accident. And he doesn't get hurt or anything, but she messed up his bike, so she agrees to give him a ride home. And when they get to his house, you can tell something is really, really weird and everything, and she meets his family and everything, and she goes upstairs and he shows her around the house, and she meets his sister, who doesn't have a mouth, but she doesn't know she doesn't have a mouth because she didn't see her face and everything. And the makeup effects on her make her just look really, really creepy. And then they eat dinner, and she gets ready to leave because she's starting to tell that something isn't right, and he makes her stay because she wants his uncle to do his magic tricks, and he pulls out a couple of rabbits, and then he pulls out this really, really demonic, creepy looking rabbit that it looks really awesome because it has that 80s special effects and stuff that just make it look really awesome and stuff. And then his sister ends up sending one of his sisters into the TV to get ate by a cartoon character. It's really creepy, and it's just really, really creepy episode and everything. And Jonathan Licht is really, really good as Anthony in here. He's like really creepy, not as creepy as the original Anthony, which the actor that played him is actually in this short too. From the original version, is in here as an adult. I think he might be the dad, but I can't remember for sure which one he is. But it was either a dad or one of his uncles, I think. But it was really, really good segment in here, and one of the best in here. And like I said, the special effects are amazing, and Joe Dante's directing is great and everything. And then the final one is probably the most famous one from the movie, and one of the most based on one of the most famous episodes of the show, maybe even the most famous episode. It's called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, and this one's directed by George Miller, and in this one, John Valentine is a man who's already having like a panic attack and stuff inside the bathroom of the plane, and the stewardess finally gets him to come out of the bathroom and to go sit in his seat and everything, and he's all nervous and stuff, and he looks out the window and he sees a gremlin on the wing of the plane and everything, and it's like trying to destroy it, the engine and stuff, and he's like goes into a panic and everything, and is trying to get everybody to he gets everybody freaking out and everything, and then they calm him down and everything, and he looks again and he sees it and he freaks out again, and he ends up taking the I guess it's a security guy, I'm not sure what they're called, but he takes his gun and shoots out the window, and when he does, he sees the gremlin, and the gremlin sees him, and it comes and touches his face and stuff right as they're about to land, and it flies away and everything, and everyone thinks he's just lost his mind and crazy and everything, and then you see him put in a straitjacket and get put in an ambulance, and the people are looking at investigating the engine and stuff on the plane, and they see like the scratch marks and stuff from the gremlin, and realize that he might not be as crazy as they thought he was. And then it shows him in the ambulance and stuff, and we see Dan Aykroyd from the beginning of the movie driving the ambulance, and he says, he said, I heard you had a really big scare up there, you want to see something scarier, and that's how the movie ends. But it pretty much brought everything full circle and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. But this is probably my favorite segment of the whole movie. Although I don't know though, because It's a Good Life was a really good one too. But I think this one is my most favorite. It's the one part of the movie I actually did see as a kid. I never actually saw the rest of the ones as a kid. I watched the show quite a bit as a kid because one of our family friends and I used to watch Twilight Zone a lot and everything, and we actually watched this episode and then watched this segment from the movie and everything, because he knew I like John Lithgow and everything, and I love the original version too, because the original one has William Shatner as John Lithgow's character, and John Lithgow is amazing in this movie, and William Shatner was amazing in the show. I liked both versions, everything. I think I actually somewhat liked William Shatner's a little bit more, just because of the fact that he's not as he's not as like over the top when he's panicking and stuff like John Lithgow was, but it's still really, both of them are really good and everything. But yeah, so I definitely say this is probably my favorite one out of the whole movie and everything. It's the only one that I've really watched as a kid, because I actually never have seen this movie all the way through until tonight. But I think each segment is really good and everything. But so, in the way I'd rank them, I'd probably have to say I'd go Nightmare at 20,000 Feet as my number 1. Number 2 would be It's a Good Life. 3, Kick the Can. And 4, Time Out. So pretty much each one got a little bit better than the other, and everything. And all in all, I'd probably say I'd give this movie a 7 out of 10, because it's fun and everything, but it's not one that I'd want to rewatch very often, mainly because of that first segment. I just really didn't care for it very much, but it's a fun movie and everything. I wouldn't say it's one of my all-time favorite Spielberg movies, since he only directs about 20 minutes of it, but it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of these directors or a fan of the show. It's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, so anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Twilight Zone the movie, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.